Hello and welcome, Pisces. This is Michael, back with another monthly reading. We're going to be using tarot and astrology to figure out what May 2022 has in store for you. I already have all of your cards here on the table, and I'm just going to be frank. The astrology for this month is pretty crazy. We have your ruling planet Jupiter entering the sign of Aries the same exact day that Mercury goes retrograde in Gemini. This is happening on May 10th, both of these things. And we also have a full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio on the 16th. And eclipses are thought to be extra potent or extra powerful full moons or new moons. In the case of solar eclipses, which we had on April 30th, we now have a full moon eclipse. And if there is one thing we could talk about with the full moon in Scorpio, it is that it's already a potent energy. So this is a very powerful full moon. Might feel kind of intense. There's definitely a lot to unpack here. Before we dive too far in your reading today, I just want to thank all of you who have supported this channel with your likes, shares, comments, and subscribes. And an extra special thank you to all of my patrons on Patreon. It's with all of your support that I'm able to continue putting out these readings and doing this incredible work. So really, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. I am also offering a sale on all of my services. You can get a reading or Reiki session with me 15% off using the discount code ECLIPSE through May 16th. So if you want to get a reading with me, snag those while you can, get the sale while you can. I like to just kind of offer these things, and honestly, Reiki in particular is probably really good if it just feels like there's a lot of energy and you don't even know what you need. And that could very well be something that's coming up for some of you this month. Anyways, Pisces, I have your cards here on the table. The first card we actually had was the Page of Cups. And while this is a very romantic card, sometimes indicating new love or new suitors or just dreamy energy, I really thought of you. And just the energy we've had this whole year. We've had Jupiter and Neptune, two of your ruling planets, both of your ruling planets, I should say, in your sign. And there really has just been this sort of spiritual growth. There's this personal growth that's happening for you. And you're really coming into yourself this year. And I felt like this was just you tapping into your magic the moment I drew this card. And then naturally, the next card I drew was the Magician. And so this really did feel like you connecting with your magic and manifesting things, connecting with your spirituality. And it's almost like you returned to yourself. That's kind of the energy I get with these cards and the energy that comes through as I was connecting with you. It feels like there's just this connection, there's this sweet thing. It's like you're going back to a time in your life where you felt really good and really positive and really hopeful. And if that's not energy that's resonating for you coming into the month of May, then consider this the invitation to go back to the basics, to go back to a time in your life where you really just felt this magic and you felt this flow. And I feel like there's something with manifestation, maybe working with the law of attraction, with the Magician here. I do also feel, though, there is something about you actually manifesting a relationship or manifesting a person in your life. And I think this actually is kind of confirmed with the Ace of Cups, at least for some of you. And it feels like you had manifested something, you had opened your heart, and now there is something in your life in May. There is someone in your life in May. And it's this beautiful energy. I really, really love to see the Page of Cups, the Magician, the Ace of Cups. There's all of this new and beautiful thing, or beautiful energies. And I honestly get the sense, Pisces, like you may be connecting with people in a way that you've never actually connected before. Maybe this is a specific individual, maybe this is a group of people, or maybe this is just going through life in general. But I kind of do get a little bit of a love or romance vibe here. That's very often why people come to tarot, honestly. This could also just be representing you tapping into your own intuition and your journey with self-love, with the Ace of Cups as well. And I definitely think that self-love has been very important, but it's almost like you've been loving on yourself, and now you have actually manifested love from another person. That is, if you are single. If you are in a relationship, there could be a deepening of a connection. There could be touching into that super sweet and innocent energy that you kind of get at the beginning, that new relationship energy, but it's coming from a deeper place, a more established place, and it just feels very, very good. The thing that is kind of interesting, though, Pisces, we have the Nine of Wands, and clarifying this Nine of Wands, we have the Devil and the King of Wands in reverse. And it's almost like, if I were to just break down the story from my raw impression, it's almost like there's this new person in your life, or there's a new relationship in your life, and there are things from the past that are making you wary of this new thing. You don't know if you can trust it. You don't know if you can trust yourself. And I see this with the Nine of Wands, feeling wounded from the past, or still healing something from the past. And the Devil and the King of Wands in reverse, I feel like you've dealt with a real narcissist, or you've dealt with multiple narcissists in your life, or just really self-centered people, or really toxic relationships or toxic situations. And now that you're in a situation or relationship that feels good, it's like it's so out of context for you. You don't even know how to interact or move with this. And it's like the demons of the past became your inner demons. You internalize certain things from relationships or patterns that you experienced, and you made them mean something about yourself. And so even though there's this beautiful energy, and I feel like you really enjoy the energy you're in, there's still part of you that's wondering if something is off or something is wrong. And it's kind of interesting because we do have the lunar eclipse in your ninth house, which to me can be kind of a psychological house. It is the house of travel, but it's also the house of higher education, of wisdom, of philosophy. And really, this part of your chart is basically anything that expands your horizons, whether that's literal or figurative. And it feels like you are seeing things from a different perspective, maybe learning about attachment styles, or learning about psychology, or maybe even spirituality, and it's making you see yourself in a different way, and it's making you see your patterns in a different way. But to be honest, I feel like you're genuinely in a good situation. And it's kind of interesting with with eclipses, those energies can be very intense, and with Mercury retrogrades, they can also be kind of these murky times. There's a lot here that might not feel super clear to you. But with Mercury going retrograde in Gemini on the 10th, I feel like you're looking at childhood. And this is why I feel like there's something with attachment styles, which is basically how our early relationships with our parents or caregivers influence our relationships now as adults, or whatever age you are when you're watching this video. Maybe you're a teen. You should probably not be watching this, but anyway, it's fine. If you're watching this and you're learning about attachment for the first time, or maybe you're already aware, it could just be good to kind of look at your early life and see how those patterns are playing out in your relationships now, because it feels like there's something beautiful here. And if this isn't about relationships for you this month, Pisces, this is about you. This could be about projects or things that you love to do. It's like you manifest this beautiful opportunity and you're like, oh man, should I really take this? Should I really do this thing? Or I actually feel like for some of you, there's also this element of you exploring spirituality more, and you're addressing fear. And I feel like a lot of this fear is stemmed in religious trauma or a religious upbringing that you had that made you wary of certain forms of spirituality. That's actually a pretty common thing. So maybe there's something like that that's coming through as well. I do feel like with the Devil in reverse and the King of Wands in reverse with the Nine of Wands, some of you might be working really hard or just really exhausted and really depleted. This could be a work situation that's also coming through as well. This could represent an agency or this could represent an individual. This could just be like your boss or a whole group or business or company that you work for that's very self serving and they are really working you very hard. However, I do see that you are taking some time for yourself with the Hermit and the Ace of Swords to gain perspective. And I think that's very, very helpful and healing for you. And I think it's just naturally helping you sort of come back into yourself a little bit. And I think there's almost this conundrum I'm getting too, where it's like you're finally in this healthy place or this healthy relationship or just this healthy phase. And it's like for the first time, there's people who care about what you want and what makes you happy. And you're kind of like, huh, I don't really know what that is actually. I don't really know what it is that I want or what makes me happy. Maybe that's the message for some of you or a message for some of you. Do keep in mind that these are general readings, so not everything that is coming out of my mouth is going to be resonant for all of you. It's really about figuring out if these currents or tones are matching your experience. And if this is resonating, that's great. It feels like there's kind of a lot of pieces here, to be honest. So maybe there's just a lot of different things coming up for you this month, or maybe certain messages are meant for kind of different subgroups watching this video. But yeah, I feel like there is this beautiful relationship. There's someone very genuine in your life right now. Um, Looking at energies, could be Virgo energy. We have the Hermit and the Magician representing Mercury. This could also be Gemini energy too. Um, there could be another water sign, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. I'm not feeling like it's the fire sign or Capricorn energy, even though we do have the King of Wands and the Devil. I feel like this is actually more influence from the past or influence that is not in alignment for you or is not looking out for your best interest. Um, but I feel like you're taking some time for yourself and you're gaining perspective and there might be communication. But actually, this feels like an idea. This feels like a revelation or insight that you were having by the end of the month. And I do feel like this is coinciding with the new moon in Gemini on the 30th. This is very interesting because this is, again, your fourth house, your Imam Coeli in astrology. This represents home. And this represents family and your upbringing and those beliefs and traditions and those patterns from childhood. I feel like you are gaining a lot of perspective on these things this month. But overall, the energy actually feels really, really beautiful. And it's almost like the good things, the happy things are what's triggering you. And that's kind of interesting to me. But that does make a lot of sense. What else is happening for you this month? We do have Jupiter entering into Aries. And that could actually be asking you about what you value, what you want, what you desire. There could actually be some money coming in for some of you too. Maybe the Ace of Swords, getting out of a stuck headspace. Freeing yourself from self-limiting beliefs or patterns from the past. You are removing a blindfold. Is there anything else that we should be aware of? Interesting. We have the Four of Cups and the Seven of Cups. Yeah, there's something you might not be seeing very clearly this month. And maybe that's what this Eight of Swords in reverse actually is talking about. There might be energies or situations that aren't what they seem to be, but I feel like that's almost coming from a place of trauma more than a place of deception, if that makes any sense. Like, there is something coming up in you or being triggered in you, and you're not sure what to think of certain things. But honestly, I feel like whatever is coming into your life in May, it feels really beautiful, it feels really genuine, it feels very sweet. And it's almost scary to kind of lean into that for you. The world. Open up to the world. There's a change. You're in a new cycle. Pisces, do you know that you're not in the same patterns anymore? You really did grow and evolve at this in the first part of this year. And I feel like whatever situations you've been stuck in, you are getting yourself out of. And I do want to say, if some of you are stuck in a relationship that is very toxic or manipulative, I do feel like you are getting out of this. You are seeing things clearly. You are gaining perspectives on things. And honestly, I almost wonder if that is coming through a new person as well. That's actually a pretty dominant theme in this group that I'm picking up on. And this new person, even if you are in a relationship, it's almost like they're kind of making you think, oh, maybe the relationship I'm in isn't that great. And that might actually be true for some of you, that there could be sort of a stuck relationship. Maybe this past energy I was picking up for some of you is actually something that is present still for another group of you. So kind of use your discernment here and figure out what applies to you. Um, but it feels like ultimately you are getting out of an old pattern, old toxic patterns. There could be something with substance use for some of you as well. And letting, and no longer participating in certain substances or certain activities. Because I feel like there's a lot of you needing to get clear this month. And I think the clarity will come when there is the new moon in Gemini, and then I think there will be more clarity when Mercury goes direct in June. Um, what else do we have? Is there anything else? Nine of Swords in reverse. So if you are feeling really stuck in your head, this hermit can sometimes represent going to see the wise person in the mountain, like kind of in the fantasy stories. Going to find the wise sage and getting some sort of insight or talking to someone who can help you see things from a different perspective because your emotions might be a little bit cloudy. And, even if something feels really good, it might not hurt to get a second opinion that is neutral. That's very important to stress with the Hermit card. I don't think that this figure is someone you know on a personal level. This feels more like a therapist or a mentor or maybe a reader or someone you're just checking in with to kind of give you a more neutral perspective. Yeah, that's the word that works. Um, because I feel like you don't see how far you've come. And maybe you don't trust that you're in a different place. Or you're afraid you're going to repeat the same cycles. Um, and maybe there is some healing and some things that you're still working out, but I feel like you're doing the work that you need to do. And I feel like there's a lot of insights that you are having, and maybe even spiritual downloads that are helping you change your life. As I say that, the Judgment card comes out. Interesting. Yeah, there could be some downloads or some big revelations that are happening, and eclipses in general can kind of do that. But don't be surprised if these revelations are slow to reveal themselves, or if they take time. Especially with Mercury retrograde, there might be things that kind of fly under the radar, and it doesn't show up until June. Um, but there's a lot of things that are being shaken up right now. And with the eclipse on the 16th, generally we don't work with eclipses for manifestation. And generally we don't do a lot of work in general. Wow, sorry, repeating myself. I've been doing a lot of these readings today, so sorry if this is coming out a little jumbled. But in general, with eclipses, we don't want to do a lot of intention setting or trying to bend the universe to our will. It's more us adapting to the energies, adapting to the shifts of the collective, to our own soul, to our own higher self, if that is more palatable. Because the universe is our higher self, ultimately. And we are coming into a different chapter. These eclipses represent turning points. And this eclipse in particular is right on top of the South Node, which represents releasing the past, releasing old patterns. So if there are things that you're afraid you haven't let go of, this month is actually really supporting that process for you. And there's a lot that you are releasing. And I feel like you are gaining this either through travel or spirituality or some sort of study, or gaining a higher perspective, seeing things from a more philosophical or wider viewpoint. Maybe that's psychology. But yeah, the energy feels like, yes, you can trust this. You can trust this. You can trust these blessings that are coming into your life. And I want to pull an animal card for you here. The firefly. Yeah, you have this sense of intuition, I think, about it too. It's like things feel really clear in one moment. They're very bright. They're very luminous. And then that kind of fades. And when it fades, you start to doubt yourself. It's like, wait, did I see what I just saw? Did this really come to me? And if you are having creative ideas or insights or inspirations, write your ideas down. Write all of this down, because sometimes with this energy, something burns so brightly and it feels like, oh, I'll never forget this. This is so profound and so beautiful. And then somehow it manages to be forgotten. It just escapes your mind. The firefly energy really is about writing down these impressions or acting on these moments of inspiration, and also trusting your intuition, even if it's not something that's always on, or even if it's not something that feels like it's always available. It's not something you constantly have to have. It's almost like trusting that you're just getting little nudges along the way. And that's kind of the energy here with firefly. I also want to tell you to pay attention to your dreams. That's something I get with Firefly too, kind of thinking of those bright, vivid emotions or colors or experiences and them sort of fading. It reminds me of dreams, so maybe keep a dream journal by the side of your bed and write down whatever impressions or memories you have of your dreams each morning. And if you are someone who doesn't remember their dreams, you can actually do something called dream incubation. You can look this up online. But basically, if you just tell yourself as you are falling asleep, I am remembering my dream, I will remember my dreams when I wake up, this is statistically something that can actually help you remember them. And there's other practices you can do as well if this is something that you're curious or excited to try. But yeah, follow your inspiration, follow these moments of insight. Even if they aren't something that necessarily stays with you, you don't have to doubt them. You can trust your intuition. And don't let these inner voices, these inner demons, make you question yourself. Buffalo, have faith. You are very grounded and very spiritual at the same time. And maybe you haven't always been that way. But I feel like right now your energy is just very grounded and very connected. And even if things do happen to you with the storm in the background, it's like you have this faith in something so much larger, even if you don't understand it. And it almost doesn't even matter what happens. You're letting go of fear. And with that, I have that buzz. Those are all the messages I have for you this month, Pisces. Sorry it kind of came out fast. That's just sort of what's happening right now. I do hope that this was helpful. And you are welcome to hit like and subscribe. You are also welcome to check out any of the other videos, maybe for your moon or rising sign. There could be something there for you as well, and maybe some more clarity that can come through. And just a reminder, all of my services are 15% off, and you can find all of my links in the description box down below. I will see you in the next month or next video, Pisces. I am wishing you a very happy, healthy, and safe and blessed May. Take care.